then they decided that we should put the drainage in. So we put some more drainage in the road to help with water.
All right.
We've patched the drainage since. So we feel the pavement should hold. It'll be back to a it'll be a blacktop road all the way now.
So they're talking about from the split all the way to essentially the Marlboro line, paving that whole section.
So everything that was oiled and stone before will be paved. When we, next year in my paving proposal budget, when we get that far next year, you'll see there'll be a top layer that has to be put on. And we'll probably go the other 100 feet that we should have went when we did the oil stone, but we didn't want the trucks turning around there because the Marlboro line is right at that triangle. And that was our only one concern, was turning around on it because it's not very thick. Well, blacktop it ain't, or we can pave right down. So yes, it'll be just past, right now it'll be just past Sarah's old driveway.
She's gonna be very happy with that, but
She don't even, she still got driving
she
Marlboro.
moved too quickly. That was-
Yeah, yes. But that's, so as far as, we didn't bring it up, but I'll mention it. We have a little paving money left in our budget to help pay for some of it. The rest we'll find in my budget as the year works out. Usually we don't, hopefully don't spend everything, and so a little bit from here and a little bit there to pay for the rest of it.
Well, you haven't replaced Fred either, have you? Brett Brown?
No.
Yes, there'll be somebody.
So is the drainage taking care of the issues on sort of the middle of Sheer Hill by the pond there where it always has issues
So we put some drainage there. I don't know if you've driven over it, so you could tell where we did it.
today?
Yeah, so there's a drainage there. There's 4 different spots. There's 2 on the hill, 2 on the, just before you start down, and then on that flat, to help make it last longer. And I thought there should have been some there when we were doing the oil and stone, but they swore to God that it shouldn't be a problem. And in some ways, I don't think it should have been, but I felt we should have put the drainage in because it's not that much money to put it in, protect our investment. But
So the original quote's like 95,000. Yep.
right.
Okay.
So why are they offering to pay half?
Because we paid them to oil and stone,
Okay.
and the oil and stone did not work as they believed it would, and so did we. So said and done, we're gonna, it was the same amount of money as if we based it. We're just not paying it all in one year.
But we did oil and stone on the roads at a dump, right?
That is not oil and stone, that is recycled blacktop, that is,
Oh, okay.
that is, there's no, that is just recycled blacktop that we ground off of Chimney Hill. So we're gonna see how that works. That was very little cost. That's,
Well, so far, so good.
so far, if we don't have mud come fall or spring, sorry, hopefully we don't have mud
We'll
in
always
fall.
have that.
I think most people are happy with it. I mean, it could ride a little smoother, but it ain't blacktop either. You know,
So I thought it was oil and stone.
good
It looked like
base.
a little glossy on top.
no,
They
there's,
rolled
that's,
it, they
it's-
rolled it out a couple of times.
yeah, it's been
Okay.
rolled a few times.
Gotcha.
It's
Okay.
had some stuff sprayed on to help bind it back together, but it's turning harder every day. And as long as we can keep it semi-smooth until it gets completely hard, hopefully that's the way it's gonna stay.
So
Go ahead,
since
sir.
this is a long way around and we round up at the transfer station road, how's the schedule change working out over there? Has nothing to do with the roads.
Yeah, a lot of questions for me today. So there's been a little confusion with some people. Most people, some say they're happy with it. Some kind of wish there was still a Friday. We did a car count up there. We averaged 200 cars on Sunday. We averaged, I think it's 89 or something cars on Thursday, and the same on Tuesday. They're spread out more. They're evenly. Sunday is a little bit more busier than the last time I did a car count up there. But most people seem to be just fine with it. It has worked out better. Our dumpsters are leaving fuller because we don't have to wonder if it's going to be busy or not. We can have them emptied on the day that when they're full, so we don't have to empty them wondering what's happening. So it is helping a little.
Cool, thank you.
What about
We
the-
haven't had too many people too upset about.
What about the illegal dumping?
As far as people dumping,
Their bags when the transfer station's closed?
so we have cameras up there, and since we put the cameras up, it all of a sudden stopped. So I'll let you know when I find this
Go figure.
person. There is cameras up there now, so we are keeping an eye on that.
All right, so getting back to the matter at hand,
Yes.
okay? You are looking for $42,975 as our percentage to pay with Allstate to get Sherry Hill paved, correct?
Correct.
All right, would somebody like to make a motion to that effect?
I move to approve the quote from Allstate to pave Sheer Hill Road in the amount of $42,975.
All right, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, we have motion and a second to approve the $42,975 to be spent on paving, or as our share of paving Sherry Hill Road. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
Marshall, thank you for your perseverance on this one.
When do they think they'll start it?
When they're gonna start, I'm hoping soon, because they're in Dover right now. So I'm thinking when they're done in Dover, they're coming down here.
Scott?
The select board to possibly appoint a health officer, and that would be your town manager.
All right.
Where's your resume?
In the event that you decline the town manager, then it goes to the select board chair.
I don't think
Good to know.
Okay, so
Oh, you're gonna move this along now?
I'm gonna move this one right along. Yes, I am. Scott's going to assume the position of health officer. We've got some changes in the air, and we have to take care of this part of it right now.
Do you need a motion?
Would somebody like to make a
I
motion?
make a motion, we approve Scott A. Tucker as the town health officer.
All right, we have a second.
Second.
All right, so go back to the beginning. The movement to possibly appoint Scott Tucker as the health officer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Scott?
We'll just have to get the chair to sign it. We'll have it this week.
Does Scott have to take an oath?
With Therese or Edna, because it has to be notarized.
Yes. The select board to possibly approve the vicious dog bite hearing decision, which I have in front of me.
It's not in our packet, is it?
No.
It's in the minutes. but
We
yeah.
realized that you have already deliberated, just for everyone's edification. Select board has already deliberated, the chair has written the report, and here is the decision. The bite is deemed without provocation, and a protective order is necessary. And this was the owner was Robbie Lordy, and the dog, there were two dogs, one is Derek and one is Pearl. Pearl is to be chained and confined when outside of the domicile. Pearl must also be licensed and properly vaccinated without delay, and proof presented confirming same to the town of Wilmington. The victim has had to subject himself to rabies shots as a precaution due to the lack of valid inoculation data on Pearl. Derek is another matter, in that it was declared that he suffers from dementia and was difficult for even the owner to control during this attack. He is to be euthanized within the next 10 days, and proof of same filed with the town of Wilmington. This was discussed with the owner and he did not object. He did object to euthanizing Pearl. However, if there is a reluctance to not vaccinate Pearl, euthanization will be our only viable option. Based on the foregoing findings of fact and conclusion of law, the select board finds that the bite was without provocation and therefore a protective order is necessary. Failure to comply fully with the conditions set forth in this order shall subject the dog, domestic pet's owner, keeper to the penalties provided in Title 20, Section 3546. This decision order was approved by the select board on 7/21/25. And I would just ask you to make a motion and vote on it now.
Just very quickly, I did 3 follow-ups on this. There has been no attempt to register either animal, nor has there been a vaccination secured for the dog in question. All right, and understand the victim is now going through his rabies treatment, which is very unpleasant, by the way. Anyway, okay. Anybody have any questions on it? Somebody like to make a motion? We approve the vicious dog report?
I'll do it. I'll make a motion to approve the vicious dog report. I can read the whole
How
thing.
inclusive is
if you
that?
like.
Okay, all right.
You know,
All right. Or do we have a second?
Second.
We have motion to second to approve the vicious dog report as read this evening. All those in favor say aye.
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 I abstain, I wasn't here.
You still want to kill the dog, do you?
Wasn't here.
Okay. All right, Scott, I'm sorry.
Next, we have Senator Seth Bungartz and,
Gentlemen, can you take the seat here?
sorry.
We can swear them in as new health officers.
You know, this is a rarity. I think maybe once in the past 12 years, we did have Dick come in and Campion. It was Dick's horse and pony show, you know, Dick. I'll leave it at that.
So we really are here just to have a discussion, get to know each other. And although I have a couple of things to say, but really to also pick up from you, although I keep in touch with Scott and Gretchen. So we kind of have some sense of what's going on and what the needs are. That we might be able to help.
I forgot tax sale, but we'll get to that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah.
Okay.
That one I'm not prepared for. So, Scott just mentioned that we want to talk a little bit about the education bill and the other big things going on, or of course housing, healthcare, and so I don't know how. I want to really do this. I don't know how to. I almost don't know how to do this really briefly, but the first half, if you will, it's not, and that's not really an accurate. But anyway, the first half of the education bill passed this year, but the part that is now in front of the legislature is the issue of sort of developing new maps. And there's a summer committee put together. They just had their second meeting today. I talked to one of the members right afterwards to have a sense of where things are. But so, as you recall, the old system, as we all know, was so Byzantine. It is so Byzantine that nobody understands it. It has the effect of when you go in, it's built on tax capacity rather than tax allocation. You go in to vote for your school budget, for your district budget, but you really don't know. You vote for the budget, but you really don't know what impact that's going to have on your taxes, because everything is tied together with everything else that happens all over the state. And the system was designed to provide an equal opportunity or equity. And it's now reached the point, for a number of reasons, exacerbated by COVID, but where it's having a perverse effect of the opposite of what it was intended to do. And on top of that, people aren't happy with their taxes. As you recall, it sort of tax revolt years ago. And so the governor took the lead in trying to put together a different approach. And I forget the percentages of this. I think 46 of the 50 states have a foundation formula. And so we're switching under this model to a foundation formula rather than the tax capacity formula that we had before. That part passed, but everything is dependent on maps being adopted. And that is going to be an interesting thing to either be part of or to watch, because you know, every member of the House is going to be looking at their district and what does this mean for my district? Everybody's going to, so it'll be that's what's going to go on with education this year is going to be whether maps can go through or not, what they're going to look like. I think one of the things that you might want to be doing, Whitingham and Wilmington together, is talking to your neighbors and trying to think about whether you have anything to take to the commission or the committees when it gets to the legislative committees this winter. So I try to do that really quickly. That's an hour discussion. Housing, I think the really important thing you mentioned probably is on this one is the tax increment financing changes that allow it. There's been attempts for a long time to allow smaller towns to have access to tax increment financing, and actually even project specific. And that passed this year. And I think it's up to $2 billion. Do you remember how that works? $2 billion total. Yeah. But there's a real opportunity for smaller towns, project-based specifically, to take advantage of tax increment financing, get some projects done. I think that, I think especially as town manager, that the poster child for this work has been St. Albans, John McLeod, and what they've done in St. Albans, and really revitalized their downtown using, in large part, tax increment financing. They were the old program, the bigger program, but this provides opportunities for towns that didn't have access to it before. So I think there's a real, I know what's going on here.
Yeah, there's a few little pieces that are a little challenging for
We should
us
talk.
in Wilmington.
We should talk about that sometime then, and think about what little challenges. So
Yeah.
okay, so just I'm happy to talk anytime that we are. So I think it's fair to say the single biggest crisis we're facing by a mile is healthcare. The cost of healthcare. We have Blue Cross Blue Shield within inches of going under, and that cannot happen, or we're in serious trouble. Blue Cross cannot go under. But we've also got hospitals struggling. No news here for anybody. Hospitals are struggling, and people can't afford their premiums. Put that all together, and the system isn't working on any level at this point. It's in deep trouble on every level. We took some steps this year to help with costs in the form of reference-based pricing, which ties the pricing that hospitals get charged to Medicare rates, which will help bring down costs. And then there was more control given to the healthcare board to hold down hospital costs. So I say that as if, talking about hospitals there and controlling costs and bringing down costs, but we also have to really be aware of the fact that hospitals are hanging on by their fingernails as well. So we've got to somehow thread this needle. And in the meantime, of course, the federal government has passed a bill that we don't really know yet what the numbers are, but up to 30,000 Vermonters could lose their Medicaid. And that is huge. And that's sort of the magnitude of that problem is it really hits us at that level is pretty scary. So hopefully that's not it won't be that dramatic for us, but what we're gonna be facing this year and the next couple of years as we try to navigate the changes. Vermont gets about a third of its budget from the federal government, and navigating those changes, depending on how deep those cuts are, is really going to be that could be the biggest challenge for the legislature for the next couple of years. Trying to weave that into figuring out how to do with healthcare. So there's that. You asked me about transportation. I couldn't get a hold. I tried to call Richie Westman after we talked, the chair of the transportation committee in the Senate. But what Rob and I talked about it quickly this afternoon. The big takeaway is that the gas tax is going down. Richie, I remember him sitting with him, just chatting in his room in this committee room at the end of the day. In this one, and I forget the numbers, but he was talking about a third less money for paving and road work. I mean, some pretty big numbers, and that was this year. And he's really worried about next year. And you heard him say this on the floor. Those are the big challenges. And on the one hand, but I made it sound like they're insurmountable, I guess, and they're pretty scary on the one hand, but we will, as a state, figure out how to do this. But so we had, I think the tax increment financing is really important. I think getting the right resolution for how the education bill is finally put together was critical, obviously for Wilmington. I understand a lot of the reasons why, and the continued work on housing. So housing, healthcare, education, and dealing with some Rob houses, just a little bit to talk about.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
If we're going back to the foundation for, if you recall back in the 70s, that's what we had. And I always thought that worked fine. And Act 60 was just so welcome in this community. Of course, we tried our best to avoid it.
Yeah.
All right. As did Whitingham, as a bunch of us did.
Yeah.
And in fact, your hometown did the same thing. But so are we getting rid of Act 60 altogether so we can really put that whole era to rest?
If this is all tied to the second half passing, but if the whole thing does pass, Act 60 and Act 68 will be totally in the rearview mirror.
Okay.
And what it will be is, everybody taxed the same per 100.
All right.
Everybody gets the same per weighted student. So the old foundation formula relied also on other tax dollars being thrown into the pot, which is where the trouble began, because not enough money was getting thrown into the pot. But this foundation formula is everybody pays the same per 100, everybody gets the same per student back. So
no more gold towns.
No more gold towns. Very, very simple.
Thank you for doing that.
Very, very, very simple. And there's a different, the homestead relief portion of it is put together differently, but it's still there. And I can go into those details if you want me to, but that part of the formula was also pretty Byzantine. It was very hard for people to figure out where they were. This one's very simple. Okay, I started this off, I'll say. So on the first 425 value, 425,000 of value of the home. So for most of us, the whole thing, 425,000, there's a sliding scale basically by $10,000 increments from 0 to 10,000 up to 115,000. And where if you're in the very lowest bracket, you only pay like 10% of what you would otherwise have paid when it works up the ladder.
Okay.
And there's a study going on now, I can remember if it's due this December or next December, looking at whether and how that $115,000 of household income, that cap should be raised to more like 175. Because 115 is actually, it's healthy, it's good to have that, but it's actually, depending on the value of your house, it can still put a real stretch in your budget to pay your property taxes. But the system is, but yeah, you're right. So that's the one thing that in particular I like about this bill. There's parts of it that I think we both don't like the minimum class sizes and those things, but we did everything we could. But anyway.
Well, yeah, and I'm here. I didn't expect to be able to be here. I work as a prosecutor and I'm back at full time, and our office is down a few people. So, but some stuff resolved today, so I was able to come with Seth. So I don't have a piece of paper prepared, but I'm mostly here to just remind you who I am. And I'm Rob Plunkett. I'm another senator along with Seth. I'm from Bennington and grew up there, becoming in Wilmington all my life. What my committees are not the big committees like this. It's agriculture in the morning. So that and any ag folks out there, reach out to me and both teach me about it and ask me questions and make demands and see what we can do. my other committees, institutions, which mostly deals with what's called capital bill, which is money for state properties and whatnot. But I'm also dealing with a lot of technology stuff. So probably the biggest thing that I've done that you might have noticed is that you might have to verify your age on certain websites now because of one of the bills we passed is part of that. But that's mostly what I'm here for, and I'm here to hear from you guys and to be part of the conversation as well.
So we keep in touch with Scott and Gretchen. So like I said, we have a field, but if there's anything that you're thinking about that you think we might not know, we're going to.
So can you just quickly summarize with the changes in the bill that just passed national level, what effects it's going to have on the state of Vermont?
No.
Well, the quick way to summarize it is that there's going to be less federal money. It's going to be built.
And that was that's one of the things that we've been talking about is the transportation bill, which is near and dear to us on the highway side, and those costs as well.
And medical coverage, Medicare.
Medicare seems to be okay. Medicaid is not.
Okay.
And we've got a lot of Vermonters on Medicaid. And these are people who, these are people who are working in stores, doing, these are our friends and neighbors. And a lot of them are gonna have a really hard time. We're gonna have to figure out how to deal with this. But I don't yet know the magnitude. It's still a little fuzzy. Part of the fear is that of all the things that the paperwork that has been added to it, all of is actually going to keep people away, keep people from accessing it. So there may be some ways that the state can help with that. That'll help with some of the situations, but not all of it. Yeah, 30,000 people, if it does turn out to be that high, losing their Medicaid is going to be a huge hit for Vermont. So I think we're going to have to find a solution. But there's all kinds of other things like that you don't notice as much, but like AmeriCorps being basically eliminated, other programs like that like for trail work I can some other question. You have some examples of most of them.
Yeah, well, AmeriCorps is a huge help during flood events and things like that. There's federal grant money for trails. That looks like it will not be available. What about our bridge? Is it budgeted? Do you know that, Scott?
We're going to find out.
Yeah.
My guess is yes, but I mean, I don't know that.
And you mentioned the dam to me today, so talk about that a little bit.
So the folks behind you are going to talk about the dam shortly, if you've got time to listen to them.
Those are our damn guys.
But I know my finance officer who's sitting next to you, Christine, was interested in, and this may be a longer conversation as well, but was interested in some of the tax sale changes and the implications of those and the implications of some that thankfully were not included, but maybe you could just summarize just briefly.
Well, there was a bill earlier in the session that had a lot of changes that were proposed, but most of them got put one that did say is that now people have to be delinquent for over a year in order to go to tax sale, which not the end of the world, but working for us, that basically means that they could be almost 2 years delinquent by the time they take that to tax sale. The new one that I just found out about in the last week or two was one that I thought had been thrown out, but apparently in the education bill, somebody decided to sneak in an amendment to it, saying that now they also have to have a $1,500 minimum tax owed. And I'm not sure when they say $1,500 minimum, if they mean just principal or if they mean interest and penalties can also be included in that minimum. But we have a lot of low value land property between, health development and a haystack development. Where the bills are less than $100 a year.
I think they're like $30 right now.
So it took you
A
15
year.
years to get there. Yeah.
So it would take basically over 15 years possibly to even get them to a point where you can take them to tax sale. Now, when I first started here 20 years ago, we had this situation here. We had 500 properties that had never been taken to tax sale. And what we found out at the time too was that there's another law that stipulates you can't take properties over 15 years to tax sale. So if a property had, a year or two or whatever beyond 15 years, we had to write those values off completely because they were considered uncollectible or we weren't able to collect them. So that is still the case, and I haven't been able to find if that law still sticks in. That means that we have like 188 properties in Wilmington that would never have to pay taxes.
Doesn't start, clock doesn't start second time.
Well, the thing is, if they never reach the $1,500 minimum.
Right, okay.
then I
15
think
years will
Yeah,
always
okay,
hit first.
yeah.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
and it says and, it doesn't say or, it doesn't say 1,500 or a year, it says minimum of 1,500 and it has to be over a year. So that's,
Okay, I can't answer those questions.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting that
Yeah,
you would be able to answer, but it's something that, I'm not sure that it's taken
Yeah, no.
into account, and like I said, this appears to have been kind of snuck into this bill, because I know even our attorney who has been doing tax sales for years, and knows a lot about it, was kind of,
What was the last minute?
didn't know about it until she was in the
Yeah.
middle of a tax sale in another town, and it came up with, I think it was legal aid that brought it up to her. And then the other part of it is too, that we actually have to apparently write a payment proposal to the individual who has not paid their taxes. It's not just that we have to offer them the ability to do a payment plan, but we are supposed to actually say, okay, you owe us $1,000, we'll say $1,500, you owe us $1,500. And we are supposed to try to determine how that person is gonna pay that. If they pay it in a month, if they pay it in 3 months, if they pay it in a year, rather than them telling us what they can afford, which seems a little.
Okay. Let us take a look. I actually didn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
I vaguely remember.
okay.
Who's your contract?
Kristen Shane is with Vermont Men's Foundation.
Let's take a look.
Any help would be
Yeah.
most appreciated.
It's just,
Well, and we are collecting or trying to collect the taxes, so we can have, people just say, no. we're not paying."
But part of it is, if you can't take someone to tax sale, let's just suggest that if you can't take it to tax sale for roughly 2 years, is probably what it's gonna work out to. It is a disservice to people who struggle, because they're going to be further behind.
and if, under the current education system, we also send money to the state, so if we're not collecting that money, that we have to send to the state. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot.
That may not be the case under the, but
And it'll be interesting to see how that changes, because this one has evolved as I've been here, so we'll see how the new one evolves.
We're hoping for a new dawning day here. That's good.
okay. You know, you got a long meeting. We don't want to, but I do want to say listen for minutes to that damn discussion. And at the dam division, right? About Green, at the dam division.
Green, yeah.
Yeah, so we can.
Yeah, so what I suggested is that we'd be looking for money, and there might be some opportunity. We're gonna wait and see.
Yeah. But Rob will help us start so we can get him in the votes on that. Okay. Good.
Money always helps.
Yes.
You know that. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming this evening.
Thank you.
Lake Raponda Dam, MSK Engineering. has offered to give us an update on the Lake Ramona Dam project. Kyle and Andrew are here.
Evening. So as Scott said, my name is Kyle. This is Andrew. We're with MSK Engineers. Just here to give you a bit of an update on the Lake Raponda Dam project. As we've been working through our engineering evaluation, before I kind of get into it, I'll give a little background. I'm sure everyone's pretty familiar with the dam, but in case you're not, Lake Raponda Dam is on the northern end of Lake Raponda, adjacent to the boat access on Lake Raponda Road. In October 2021, the Vermont DEC inspected the dam and deemed the dam to be in poor condition. So at that point, we were contracted with the town to perform an engineering evaluation. And after contracting, the Vermont DEC performed a failure and flood routing analysis. And based on that analysis, they increased the hazard classification from low to significant hazard. So we kind of had a re-gear as we were kind of digging into the dam and performing our inspections. And now the difference between low and significant hazard dams is that the low hazard dam, it indicates that there's a minimal economic or environmental impact expected if the dam were to fail. And with a significant hazard dam, it's anticipated that there'd be a considerable amount of damage. So that's kind of the background of where hazard classification comes from and what that indicates. So we provided an evaluation report, identified repairs and improvements needed to bring the dam from poor to good classification in the eyes of the state and Vermont DEC. And after we provided our evaluation report to the state for their review, and they had some comments, we had a meeting with Scott was involved, and we had some back and forth. We provided an addendum to kind of answer some of their additional questions and comments. That addendum is currently being reviewed by Vermont DEC, and we haven't had any word back yet. So some of our key findings, there were several hairline cracks in the concrete cutoff wall. We found 2 active seepage zones. There was multiple areas of small concrete on the spillway, as well as a fractured section. And there is also erosion and irregular slope grading along the crest and downstream and upstream slopes. So as I mentioned, the dam was upgraded from low to significant hazard by Vermont DEC based on their failure and flood model. And the requirements of a significant hazard classification dam are that you need to have an emergency action plan, also called an EAP. A spillway design flood, which is typically done for a 100-year storm for low hazard, is now required to be performed considering a 1,000-year storm event. And dam inspections are required to occur every 5 years as opposed to every 10 years. And that's what we're doing in the past. So a hydrology and hydraulic analysis was performed as required with the 1,000-year storm event. It indicated that there was overtopping of the dam of about 0.4 feet, half a foot from layman's terms. And to compare that, the requirements of a significant hazard dam is 1.5 feet of what we call freeboard, which is essentially the height between the water surface and the top of your dam during a 1,000-year storm. However, it's our opinion that raising the dam to meet this freeboard requirement of a significant hazard dam doesn't seem feasible, mainly due to the adjacent Lake Raponda Road, as well as other site constraints. So our final design will justify stability of the dam without meeting this freeboard criteria, and while providing overtopping protection, and along the way getting the okay from the state while we kind of go that route here. So the recommended repairs and improvements based on our evaluation are as follows. We recommend that you repair the fractured concrete and spillway section, install a filter blanket and riprap downstream and adjacent to the concrete plug at the spillway bedrock interface, and this will control seepage. Regrade the crest to a uniform elevation. Add riprap on both the downstream and upstream slopes to provide both overtopping protection as well as to address eroded areas. It's recommended to extend the concrete wall towards Lake Raponda Road. And after the review of our initial report, the Vermont DEC recommended that we provide a low-level outlet, which is proposed to be an open channel stop log structure located on the existing spillway. And the permitting required for these recommendations would consist of a wetlands general permit, a Vermont dam safety permit, and potentially a lake encroachment permit. In our report, we provide an operation and maintenance plan with an inspection checklist. And an emergency action plan, as I mentioned, will be required due to the reclassification. So the conclusion of this is, if all these recommendations and repairs and improvements are completed, the dam will be upgraded from poor to good condition to meet the requirements of a significant hazard dam. And the next steps would be, as we're awaiting Vermont DEC approval of our provided addendum to our initial report, we recommend that an emergency action plan be created, as well as begin to move towards final design after we get the okay from the state on our addendum and provide an updated opinion of probable cost based on that final design. So if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to kind of answer some more info. That's kind of the background of what we've done to date and where we see this going in the future here.
So when you say emergency action plan, what would that be?
That's generally a notification flow chart. If the dam were to fail, it's who do you call and when do you call them? So largely emergency action plan consists of a flow chart calling for everyone from 911 to notifying your dam engineer as well. And it kind of gives you the steps of who to call when, who they will call. You have different individuals, their phone numbers, their organizations, just, where do you go from here if you start indicating any sort of issues with the dam?
And that is based off of kind of analysis of what if this dam were to fail, what properties would be affected. So if you have a daycare downstream, that they're going to be first on the EAP list to notify that, hey, it's a potential failure of the dam. Schools, very public places are included in the EAP, as well as any residential homes or anything like that. So it's kind of an emergency flow list of, hey, someone notices that this dam is overtopping or close to failure, who's notified?
And in the past, for dams that have a large number of residential structures, there's been some automated notification systems implemented. My initial reaction is that I believe there's at least one residential structure immediately downstream of the dam. Beyond that, there's multiple principal arteries and roadways that'll be inundated. So, you're notifying the town and police for that regards. But in terms of residential notification, we haven't run that exact analysis, but I believe there'd be a minimal number of residential people to inform of anything such as that. So it's not an immediate concern of loss of life as it is just inundation of roadways and inconveniencing and potentially causing people not getting where they're trying to go. That's what it comes down to.
That's kind of the difference between a significant and then a high hazard dam. A high hazard dam would be imminent threat to human life or property or key logistical resources. And like Kyle said, we currently have our comments back to DEC and we're awaiting that response. So once they say, okay, we're good with kind of what we've suggested back to them, then we can kind of finalize our findings, and you guys can have a full picture of what DEC is going to allow. One of the bigger things is, having the justifiable of not hitting that 1.5 feet of freeboard. So that basically means that you need to have, during the 1,000-year storm event, you need to have 1.5 feet of available space over your dam. And that's not really feasible for this dam based off of the surrounding road and everything. That is higher than a lot of the structures around. So hopefully that DEC sees that and finds that reasonable. So, and conversation seems that they will, but they haven't had their final ruling yet.
Questions? Gentlemen, thank you.
Yeah,
We don't have any cost ideas, so do we?
The initial opinion probable cost prior to getting comments from the state, which includes the installation of the low-level outlet channel, it was in the order of magnitude of about $325,000, with the requirement of doing additional subsurface investigation prior to final design, just to ensure we've based our findings and our recommendations on what's actually underneath that ground surface. We didn't want to poke holes in the dam until you're moving closer to final design, but it's important to verify some of our assumptions prior.
All right.
So the state is requiring engineers to do more exploratory work is essentially what it is.
Basic, that would be contingent on their kind of their final. So we're saying, hey, this is the laundry list of things you need to take it to a good condition.
Yeah.
So basically they're stockpiling. And then contingent on that, they say, okay, but you're going to have to verify this for the final design. So that would be the next step. Is like, here's our approach. And then the next step would be submitting to them, and that would be the dam safety permit on, okay, this is specifically how we're going to do that. And at that point, we can give you a cost because then we'll have specific rules and methods on how to do it. Right now, we're just trying to get them to agree to an approach and say, hey, where's our goal line? Where's our benchmark? And have to get, so we can design for something.
You couldn't convince the state to take ownership of that dam? No.
Keep trying. They seem to know better, especially the dam safety division.
Yeah.
It's a common
Well,
thing.
unfortunately, we took it because of taxes.
Right.
About 1991 or 2 or something like that.
Thank you very
Unbelievable.
much.
Yeah,
Thank you, gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. You got. Well, the planning commission is here. They have 2 items for you. A few more is here. Cheryl LaFlamme is here. The select board to accept the proposed zoning ordinance from the planning commission. And second on their list is the planning commission to give the recommendation for acting zoning administrator and the select board to possibly approve.
Evening, gentlemen, and Jessica. As Scott said, Matthew and Cheryl from the Planning Commission. We have put together, from the hard work of the town, the Planning Commission, the zoning administrator, proposed changes to the ordinance for the town, the bylaws. I'll read a brief summary of the changes that we've made that we're, bringing forward for you to consider.
Matthew, was some of these dictated by state law?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
so exactly. So a lot of this was state law, housing density, things like that, things that came down in the last session, not this present session, but in the last session. So a lot of this was to come into compliance with state law. We redid, and that includes the flood and some of the housing provisions. We brought in some clarifying provisions for things that where there were questions in front of the DRB or where the ZA had questions. We've put in some clarifying language throughout. We've updated some language for basic stuff like typos or outdated language around handicapped and things like that, words that are no longer used in regulations and ordinances. We also, in addition to the flood section, we worked with the WRC both on that and on rewriting the telecommunications section, which is primarily around putting up cell towers and things like that. So those are both net new, and have been updated. There are, alongside with those, some definitions that have been added or updated, mostly around flood and floodplain considerations, flood hazard considerations. We have, I guess, this is what was provided and what was advanced to you that I'm reading off of. A lot of the updates were, required by state law for compliance. There is, and this was, there was a tiny bit of discretion around setting the base flood elevation, which we put in as 2 feet for new construction. We can talk about that in more detail if that's a question that you guys have once you've dug into the bylaws. So that's the basics, unless you have anything else to add. But
obviously we've had our own hearing. We did not have any questions. Surprisingly, nothing about the base flood elevation change. We have completely rewritten Article 6, which is the flood, and that was with our Alyssa from Wyndham Regional helped us write that, and that is completely in compliance with the state. And we also rewrote, as Matthew said, Article 9, which is the telecommunications. And again, Wyndham Regional was helpful in rewriting that with us and making sure that we are consistent with all the state regulations. One of the things that we did is we took all of every definition and put it into Article 10. Article 10 is the definition section. So now, instead of trying to find definitions throughout the ordinance, all of the definitions are in Article 10. And as Matthew said, we did, typos and exciting things like that. Of course, we have a whole lot more that we have found since then.
We do. I didn't want to hear that.
Right.
No, this is the result of a lot of work, and there are a couple of things in front of the Planning Commission that we're considering for future changes that are nowhere near ready to advance. As Cheryl said, we've had our hearing. We're really trying to focus on town plan, but this is by and large everything that's come to and before us, with the exception of a couple of things that are still fresh. So we tried to package it all up and get it all in one place for you.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
Sorry, no one else. I could pass this down, but so under Article 8, add subsection E, feather flags, so those are now not allowed, correct?
Yeah, yeah, so there was, some,
Signage?
yeah, signage.
Yep.
There was some lack of clarity, and I know that Jessica had been working to both kind of survey what was out, what was in violation. And I believe even to understand what people's, desires and expectations were. The language here, just clarifies that feather flags, on the street are not allowed within town. That, and correct me if I'm wrong.
The other big thing was menu boards.
Yeah.
So making sure that you don't have, a 10-foot menu board. And again, it's just clarifying and making sure. Jessica did do she went through the town and did a sign. I
Survey,
don't know how.
the sign survey. that what
Yes,
you're talking
thank you,
about?
a sign
The sign
survey.
survey.
Thank you, Jessica. And that helped clarify for everyone. I mean, it's not just making sure that it's a good ordinance for the town, it's making sure that the town folks understand what the ordinance is. So yes.
She and I, sorry, she and I spoke about the sign survey last week, that it was still in process, but they did a drive-through and they were trying to type it all up, right? Yep. Okay.
But the feather flags are not allowed in the downtown area, right? Historical district, but the outskirts that they are?
No.
Okay.
No, they're not allowed anywhere in
They're not
town.
allowed in Wilmington, but the menu sign restrictions differ between the historic district and the
Okay.
other parts of town. So where you've got, like, for example, in Alpenglow, they've got a size restriction that's different than the Wahoos.
Okay. I just.
And all you have to do is, if you're a business owner, just fill out an application and come and, and it'll be approved. It's not a big deal. It's just making sure that people come to the ZA and do their applications and everybody is on the same, in the same place.
They'll only be approved if they comply.
I'm sorry,
You say
Tony?
Fill out the application, bring it in, it'll be approved. They'll only be approved if they comply. with the
Exactly.
ordinance. That's
Yes,
the
thank
point.
you. Yes, Tony. Yep.
All right, somebody like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the proposed zoning ordinance from the planning commission.
I mean, the changes,
Right,
correct?
changes
All
from the
right,
planning commission.
all right. We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the proposed zoning ordinance updates from the planning commission. All those in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Scott?
The next item is the planning commission to give their recommendation for acting zoning administrator, and the select board to possibly approve, and this goes along with the changes in the office.
So as you all know, the current zoning administrator has issued a letter of resignation, which was accepted. She's still serving out her current term, agreed upon term. We, as the planning commission, are in a process to hopefully appoint a new, to propose a new zoning administrator for you all. But in the meantime, we've approved provisionally for our own part, to bring to you the appointment of 2 acting zoning administrators, which are Jessica Roberts, the person currently sitting in the role, and Scott Tucker, in the event that her time expires or there needs to be some supplemental help. Again, those meeting up to the expectation of a full-time zoning administrator coming in as soon as we can get that to happen.
So it's essentially your current role being split between Scott and she keeping zoning.
Not exactly.
So, my
No.
understanding, to the extent that this is the, appropriate time to address this, is Jessica will be serving on an hourly basis, on a reduced hour basis, and primarily supporting the DRB and some other aspects. The planning commission, she's left us in good shape with what she sees as remaining items, and I don't anticipate with town plan work that anything is going to be needed for planning commission between now and hopefully a soon new full-time or new role, but a full-time person in that role. And Scott and Scott's office are, as I understand it, there as a backup in case we expire with Jessica and don't have anyone else. I don't want to have to come to you for another appointment.
We aren't asking for a set date. We're just asking that you do an interim appointment. So we're not asking that Jessica only stay a month. We're opening it up for as long as we need. We do have a second interview coming up on Thursday, and we have, fingers crossed.
So I have an agreement with Jessica for the month of September, which is she's agreed to a certain number of hours. And it's at my discretion whether we extend it or part of it's for training. We're hoping to have someone on board that she can train. But it's my discretion based on the agreement, how long she stays.
Okay.
But currently she's agreed to the month of September, and that's where we're working from. Statutorily, the planning commission may at any time nominate an acting ZA regardless of the circumstances. And in many cases, the towns have an acting ZA, which tends to be the town manager or some other official. And a lot of times that's because if there's any conflicts of interest and things of that nature. Now, we've been fortunate that the ZA, since I've been here, none of them actually live in town. And I think that has helped with a lot, not having a conflict of interest and things of that nature.
Okay. Anyone have any questions? Somebody like to, want a motion on this, Scott?
Yes, please.
In fact, I'll do this. I move that we appoint an acting zoning administrator as Scott Tucker until such time the permanent party departs.
No,
No,
you need both, please.
you want both? Okay.
Jessica
I can give
Roberts
you-
also.
All right, we're acting zoning administrator and select board to possibly approve the appointment of Jessica Roberts and Scott Tucker to the zoning administration, or as a zoning administrator. All right, we have a second.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Memorial Hall, our favorite place.
Does the select board have to hold a hearing on the new zoning?
Yes,
Yeah, okay. But you're just not saying.
more to come.
Scott?
Did you want to wait for Charlie? Or no?
Okay, I didn't see Joey in that.
Can you go look for him?
It's gonna work.
That's not me to go look for him.
I go look for him.
This way we won't have to stop twice, trust me.
Okay.
There you are, thank goodness.
Matthew? You still have the bug here after met these two fellows here today? Did you know the gentleman from Bennington?
Yeah, we went to high school and law school together.
Oh, you did, okay.
It's a little Bennington reunion for me, the MSK proprietor, I went to high school and college.
Oh, okay.
Not either of these gentlemen, but yeah, Rob and I were
high school and law school together.
Right. What firm is he with?
Rob?
State's attorney's
He's
office.
at the state's attorney.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, well, DAs or he's a prosecutor.
He's a prosecutor.
Yeah.
What, over here in Bennington County?
Yeah.
That must be delightful.
He loves it, I'm sure.
Deputy
No.
state's attorney.
Shoot, yeah.
Are you on the Vermont bar?
Yeah, I'm from Vermont.
Yeah.
New York and Vermont. Yeah.
We didn't want to start without you, Tony.
No, please, sorry.
Okay, Scott?
Memorial Hall, the select board to possibly accept a bid. There are actually two bids, but for the floodproofing and electrical work at Memorial Hall. And we went out to bid. This is a grant. And two bids came in. That's all we received. And GPI is doing the construction. Their bid is $118,355. The other one is from Monument for the electrical at $16,000. There's no sense to any of this. So, and they both went to the project site. We actually had two electricians, only one bid, that went to the project site and got the review. And that's sort of the condition of bidding these days, I think. At any rate, I would ask you to approve these two bids for me. Now, it doesn't mean that the total price is $118,355, because as we know in construction, there can be change orders. I just point that out to you.
Can I ask a question, sir?
You may.
You just did. What's the budget for this project?
100, hang on, just want to go there. 127,000.
Okay.
Hang on.
No sense?
Hang on just a minute. So the grant was for $127,155. The match was $12,715.50.
Thank God.
So the available portion of the grant is $114,439.50. Construction cost is above our estimate. The electrical cost is above our estimate, probably in the 16 to 18% range, which means either we make it up or I ask for more money from the grant. That is a long process, which I will do once I have affirmation from the select board that we can go forward with a project. I believe the engineer is going to stay within his budget of $11,500, and I'm hoping legal will stay in their budget of $1,000. So the increase so far is $19,700, which makes the total project at this point $146,855.
And 50 cents. And 50 cents.
No, not yet. So remember, this is the flood proofing project that we're working on, and yes.
Thank you.
So we're here to approve the GPI quote of $118,355. And how about the electricians?
Really just GPI, not a dollar amount,
I'm sorry?
not a dollar amount, just GPI.
Well, I mean, the bid is fine.
I just thought I'd quote the
It's
bid. That's all. They have been right here. So
Yes, both, you're.
But you want that as the minimum?
Approved GPI and Monument,
okay.
yes.
All right.
Yes.
And of course, Monument is 16,000, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And no change. All right. Would somebody like to make a motion? Who repairs the Memorial Hall?
I'll make a motion to accept the bid for flood proofing from GPI Construction and electrical work from Monument Electric for the work on Memorial Town Hall.
Scott, are you okay with not quoting the figures?
Yeah, that's
Just leaving it
fine.
open? All right. All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. to approve the bids submitted by GPI Construction and Monument Electricians. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries.
Would you like to go in sewer and water commission?
Okay, I move that we go into the Sewer and Water Commission. You have a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good evening, John.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good yourself?
Good.
I have a long list here.
I noticed.
We'll make it really, really
This
quick.
is one of the longest I think I've ever seen.
Just to prove of all of that, so.
And I combined a couple of them.
We could do
And
that.
she combined it, yeah. Okay, the first one, this is 85 West Main, looking for final allocation for a 1-bedroom. This is Costello's old house that he moved out back. By the
One bedroom, that's it for that house, huh?
He's adding 1 bedroom.
Oh, he's adding
Yes,
one,
he's
all right, I was gonna say that.
So
That's
that's-
a lot of money for one bed.
So that's the first easy one, is just to approve final allocation.
Okay, all right. All right. All right, do you wanna do a couple of these and then we can sign up with you, or what do you wanna do?
We can sign them afterwards if you want.
Okay, all right, so let's go through.
But do you want to, you're going to approve this one first? You-
Oh, yeah, we will do that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I didn't think we were gonna turn any of these down, that's the way we are.
No, don't
All right,
normally.
I make a
Am
motion.
I confused on what you're
I think
asking?
he's asking if you want to approve them all at once.
He's gonna do
Oh,
it.
I thought you guys would be against that. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I
that's
mean, I
right.
don't have any objection unless you have any concerns about what's
Not
in
at
there.
all, not at all.
Okay,
He'll do it in one basket.
Okay, great. So that was first one. Number 2 is for a final out. This is the new lot across from Bob Covey's, just past Bob Covey's, your old Ted Pond lot. And so this is for final allocation for 6 bedrooms. I had originally told you it was going to be a 3-family, one building with 3 families in it.
Is that the White House with all the windows?
No, this is
There's
brand new.
nothing there
This is
now.
brand new, across the road from Bob Covey's.
All woods right now.
Fairview.
New construction.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
okay. So originally I told you he was going to be a 6-bedroom
right,
triplex, remember, 3-family.
right, yeah,
He's changed his mind. It's going to be 2 buildings, still only 6 bedrooms, so.
2 buildings.
2 buildings. So the allocation stays the same. It's still a total of 6 bedrooms.
Okay,
So that would be final approval for 6 bedrooms, 840 gallons. And also I would need approval for a connection permit, which for him to connect to the township.
okay,
All of these people have met all of their requirements, so I won't repeat myself. They've met everything that I've asked. Okay?
Yep.
The number 3 is Rob Marzelli, 35 and 37 West Main. He's the one that's built that building up on the hill several years ago. He's now connecting water and sewer.
okay,
So this is for, so it's final allocation for 2 bedrooms, 240 gallons, and also approval for a connection permit.
Okay.
now that's not the yurt, is it? Is there another building?
No, there's another building.
Okay,
back, yeah.
okay, all
Number 4 is 29 Ray Hill. This was the former Regan property. They tore down the garage, built a new garage, and they're putting 2 apartments in there. So I would need final allocation for 3 bedrooms, 420 gallons. The number 5 is 24 West Main. This is the former Merchants Bank. This is, I would need final allocation for 8 restaurant seats, 240 gallons. And number 6 is Mr. Sedell next door here at 5 North Main. It was a short-term rental and he needed to purchase allocation for 2 bedrooms. He had a little bit of a credit, so that's why the number's a little bit different. It's 230 gallons for final allocation for 5 North Main.
okay. But before we go to the race, would somebody just,
I make a motion. Do you want me to read them off or you just want me to?
go as read, how's that?
As read, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for the 6 properties identified on the warning, including connection permits as needed.
Perfect, I think, you brought that in. All
Second.
right, do we have a second? All right, We have a motion and second to approve all of the sewer commission allocations that have been presented this evening. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right, perfect, thank you. That's,
I'm not leaving yet, though.
no, I didn't know you can't leave yet. We still have water and sewer rates to us.
We have to sign
You
it.
wanna sign?
I can, it's up to you guys. You want, there's several. I mean, I.
Sure, spring.
Yeah, because they've got executive session at the end of the meeting, so.
Yeah,
You
let's
want
do
to get
that.
into the rest of the.
Let them do their homework.
Okay.
Everybody has to sign it. Good deal.
I just need you to sign this one, connection agreement, for you, please. Everyone needs to sign that. Sure.
Sure, thank you.
That's my computer with it behind me. And then that, like,
Get another connection permit for you.
Later, it's setting lower.
Nice to have this kind of talent, isn't it?
yeah, the board at the top of the building, so it's like.
All marked. Everybody. That's everyone. So,
I know, this is good news. Good news.
I like just look like this line.
One more here.
yeah, there's several.
A little more coming.
Several coming down on the
Make sure you're not missing any signatures now.
You look good.
And everybody's here too.
Can I take them?
Nothing on Zoom.
You're not done yet.
How's that?
Scott's appointment form.
You don't sign it, you're in charge.
It's not gonna last long.
That's the last one. Nope, one more.
Nope, that's the last one, just down one.
Connection.
Yeah, that goes to Jessica, right?
Yeah.
John, we're gonna talk about sewer and water rates next. Walk you
I'll
through
scoot
that.
over. Take that lead seat.
So you have there the water and sewer budgets, and then the sewer ECU rate is just at the bottom of the sewer budget. That's just the way we've always done it. And it's one number. So just a couple of things to make note with the sewer. We ended up with a small shortfall at the end of fiscal year 25. Pretty much due to the fact that the last billing cycle was due June 15th. So there are people who don't like to pay on time. They like to pay a month later, which they did. We received $19,000 of that June billing in July. So
That comes with penalty also?
Hmm?
That comes with penalty?
comes with interest.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah. The sewer budget is up like a standard 3%. John does a good job holding his budget every year, which has worked out really well. Our ECU rates, or not ECU rates, but the number of ECUs because of all of his work trying to get more people to purchase allocation. We are up to 726 ECUs, almost 727. With that being the case in the budget that we put together, we could lower the ECU rate to 612, but because we are also trying to grow our capital, we are recommending just leaving it at the 625 that it is currently, which will also help to kind of make up a little bit for that deficit last year as well. So.
Okay, so the actual established rate you're looking for is
625, 625 per ECU. Which is a single family home is 1 ECU.
okay.
And I don't know if you want me to go on and do the water part.
Let's do that too. Yes.
Before you vote, okay. The water, you also have their budget. And the rates, they have several different base rates. So there's a separate sheet for that. The water budget is up 19%, which is basically the fact that we are adding a second full-time employee and benefits to the water department. So it seems like a lot, but it really isn't. If you compare the actual budget to the sewer budget, it's very similar in dollar amounts. Same number of users, now we'll have the same number of employees. So it's high because it's always been a 1-person job and now it's going to be a 2-person job. Because of that, we are going to be we're going to need to raise the base rates for the water department. This will be actually the first time that we have raised the rates since 2021. If you look at the chart that's there for 22, 23, and 24, it does look like they went up in 23 and 24, but that's because we went from a 4 billing cycle a year to a 3 billing cycle a year. So the rates didn't go up.
It just got divided.
For the
into
year, it
different
just got
rates.
divided differently. So it got divided into thirds instead of quarters. So the proposed rate for the single family is 170 per billing cycle, 87.50 for the small nonprofit billing cycle. Small commercial would be 340 per billing cycle, large commercial would be 575. Sprinklers are 3 and usage is 10,000, and I believe it's per 1,000 gallons of usage. $10 per 1,000 gallons of usage. I don't know if you have any questions on any of this.
Is the water still being metered?
The water is
John?
metered, yes.
And they are functioning?
They are functioning, yes. It's interesting because there's a lot of talk about how the older they get, the less they read. But there are several meters that we have replaced, and I haven't had anybody who's had a replaced meter go, oh my God, I used an extra 20,000 gallons. So I don't know how far off they actually are, but.
They're aged, they've run their life, most of them.
Yeah,
majority run their life.
Yeah, I think they're like 15 years old or something like that, Chris had said. And they recommend that they get replaced every 10 years. But of course, there's some places that don't even do meters. They just do base rates and that's it.
So I've done some calculations and some charting on comparing water and wastewater because we are on the same, almost exactly the same number of connections.
Right.
And it's actually very, very close. What they use and what we bring in is a lot closer than I thought it would be. It's pretty close.
Okay.
The annual average.
Right, yeah.
Can I just ask a general question?
Yep.
For the rate code water classifications, if somebody has an STR permit, are they still a single family home?
If they have an STR permit, if you look down below, they are now considered a small commercial. Short-term rentals are under small commercial. We did that last year, I think.
Last year, year before.
So
That's a yes.
anybody who has been permitted for a short-term rental is now moved to an STR if they, oh my God, if they talk. Short-term rentals are now small commercials if they've been permitted and approved.
Okay, so an STR with 10 bedrooms, that's still a small commercial?
Yes.
On the sewer end, we do charge them more. It's based on room rental, number of sleeping spaces. So it's just like if it was a motel.
Thank you.
If it, like Christine says, if they've gone through the permit process.
Yeah, I mean, most of the STRs that are downtown are technically a single family home. Yes, some of them have sleeper sofas and 4 bedrooms or whatever.
So we catch some of that on the water usage in addition to the base.
Okay, anyone have any questions? Any more questions? All right, so $170, that's up another $40, isn't it? huh? Okay.
That's $10 a month.
Well, thank you, Mr. Science Guy. Okay, so, all right, let's have a motion both on the water and on the sewer, on the rates. We can set the rates this evening.
I move to approve the sewer rates for FY '26 and the water rates for the FY '26.
You
As
don't
written.
want- you don't want to give us the numbers there?
No, I don't.
You don't.
Second. As written in red.
As written in red. You want it that way? No.
That's fine.
You know, we do have one person in town that does read the minutes, you know that. Okay.
Well, the minutes
kidding.
Only
will
one.
include
Okay,
paperwork, so.
Yeah, the materials are posted with the minutes.
they're all right, perfect. That solves everything.
And I
But we'll
attached
still
our
get
rate
one, you
sheet
know
to the
that.
actual minutes
All right.
themselves too.
So as presented, is that you want to take them both water and sewer, do it both? Yep. Okay, all right, so the motion is to accept the rates as presented this evening for both the water and sewer department. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, motion to second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Thank
I'm
you.
now moved to come out of the sewer commission.
That's going to
I guess it moved to come out of the sewer.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. John, thank you very much. That's a lot happening in your department.
Thanks.
Thank you for your hard work.
All right,
Would you like to go into the liquor commission?
Oh, yeah.
okay, we do have a liquor. Oh, for Christ's sake, look who it is. Okay, I'm sorry. Because that's gonna be in the record now too. All right, I'm gonna move that we go into the liquor commission and recuse Mr. Foster from this next discussion.
I believe you will.
All right.
I would love to.
All right.
The liquor commission, I'm sorry. Are we in?
We are in.
The liquor commission to possibly approve a request to cater for W.I. Foster for an event on August 30th from 2 to 5:30 PM at Chimney Hill Clubhouse, and on September the 6th from 4:30 to 10 PM at Brookbound.
Brookbound Lodge, okay.
Any questions for the
I
applicant?
don't know, does the chief have any problems with you?
Yeah, the chief, okay.
Chief's fine.
Chief, okay, all right. I didn't think you liked him that much, but okay. All right. So I'll move that we approve the request to cater for W.I. Foster for an event at 8:30. 8:30 meeting August 30th from 2 to 5:30 PM at Chimney Hill Clubhouse, and again on September 6th from 4:30 to 10 PM at Brookbound Lodge. All those in favor, say
Do I
aye.
have a second first?
I'm sorry, but let's give a second. I think I'm at the end of my rope here. Second?
Second.
All right. There was motion to second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
All right.
Charlie.
Walking alone. I didn't see that.
Hey, first time in the venue, you guys got 2 pages.
This is
Yeah.
the first for me, so. it's all right.
I try really hard to keep it to one.
Yeah.
So
This is
their
special
copy still
hearing.
only says
Yeah.
100.
We already know about that.
Wilmington revolving loan fund.
So the
Are you ready?
revolving loan fund, were we going to do that?
This is just the.
Oh, I
policy.
see.
Just the
Okay, all
policy.
right. I'm
This is about
looking at the executive session. That's why. Executive session to discuss a revolving loan an application. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So Gretchen is gonna-
It's just up ahead.
So Gretchen is going to talk a little bit about the revolving loan program policy, and based on what you have, we're going to ask to have it updated again, but I'll let Gretchen walk through it.
Do you guys have the highlighted copy?
No, they just have the final copy. I didn't-
Okay. So the changes from the previous revolving loan fund that we had to this one include, underneath the top, it would say revision August 2025, so that we keep track of when we put these policies into motion.
So it's dated.
And then,
So it's dated. So the one they're going to get is not going to say that. It's
Okay.
actually, it's dated and they're signing it. The one you
Okay.
have was never signed.
okay.
Okay.
And then under eligibility criteria, must be able to show the creation of jobs, either full or part-time, and or maintaining existing jobs. And that's the difference, and or maintaining existing jobs is added, because we do have that in the description. The other piece is the maximum loan amount. It's been $20,000. With increased cost of construction and things like that, we are asking to go to 30,000. And I think that's it. We've talked, Scott and I were talking earlier about fees, and I think that we'll have to bring that back.
No, I could change.
You think we can change it here?
Yes.
Okay. That it would be a non-refundable administrative fee of $100. We would like to change that to between $100 to $1,000. And the reason is sometimes these take a little bit longer to explore and figure out, collateral, things like that. And attorney fees, evaluating, our policy, our application and all of the forms that they sign after it is approved. So we're just trying to recoup a little bit of that.
You have a structured scale on how you're going to approach all
No.
that?
It
You're
would
just
depend on.
gonna wing it.
Well, it depends on cost. So if I have to use an attorney, I'm going to determine what that cost us at the time.
Mhm.
Not the $100 is like the minimum for administrative costs or whether it's in finance or whether it's in Gretchen's ballpark. But if I have to use an attorney, that's primarily what it's for.
So when are you planning on collecting the fee if you don't know until you start?
They're going to know that up front.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once we have all the paperwork for them to sign, they'll know what the fee will be.
Okay. And who will be looking at the applications?
As usual, it's, the town manager and the economic development consultant, myself.
Okay.
We actually evaluate their application, their personal financials, their business plan, their credit score. And if it's been in business, we require 3 years of tax returns.
We have been very successful with this program, have we not?
Yeah, I was a little
I mean,
worried.
I know there's a few, but you know what, they're coming through. They've actually done very well.
Yes.
And we do need to increase this. I think when we started revolving loan, what was it?
It was 20. It was 20,000. It's been 20,000 since.
That's what I'm saying. It's been what, 10 years, 12 years?
Yeah,
Something? Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah.
So is 30 enough?
I think it's what we can handle. So we started with $100,000. And I don't recall.
Currently, the balance
Is
is about 94,000, but the reasoning for the change would be from when you started at 20,000, when that select board at that time, as we go forward, what's the present value of that 20,000 is closer to 30,000. So you could certainly make it more that means we're gonna have to put more into the revolving loan fund. But right now, we could make 3 loans with the current balance of the fund while we're taking in some money on a couple of outstanding loans.
If we only do the 3, is that gonna give us, or rather, what is the possibility of more than 3 applying?
Well, we would have to, I mean, it hasn't been, 1 or 2 a year maybe.
Yeah.
Not
Oh,
e-
so,
not even.
so it's not
So
gonna,
You're fine, and if we
Okay.
needed more money, we would come back to the board to allocate more for that fund.
So we're allocating these funds from where?
1%
1%.
local option.
Okay.
But, so it's a little confusing. We took $100,000 when we started the program
Mhm.
from the 1% local option tax.
Okay.
These monies stay within a fund that is for a revolving loan. So the 94,000 that's in it right now is all monies that have been paid back into the program. That's why it's revolving.
right, so the 1% was only the initial 100,000, now it's
Correct.
sustaining itself.
That's correct.
Right.
And keep in mind, by the very nature of this fund, it is a high-risk loan to begin with.
Have we had loans defaulted?
No, that's what we were talking about
Yeah.
before is,
Knock
You know,
on
it's
wood,
been
it's been really
close.
good. It's really
you
worked
know, I've been
well.
worried about a few, but they have all eventually come through.
So my other question is, so it says must be able to show creation of jobs, so on and so on. Is there how do we figure out how many jobs? Is it 1 job? Is it 2 jobs?
No, so, again, they're applying and they're saying, you know, how many jobs.
Well, that's what I'm
That they
asking. Are we telling
but-
them based on what?
Based on
business.
whatever business is applying. We don't, you know, like, we don't have criteria about what business can. It's for all of Wilmington businesses, but we don't say.
You're not auditing the jobs and keeping track of how many jobs are created.
I'm sorry?
You're not auditing the jobs and keeping track of how many jobs are created.
So
No,
part of the
we take
eligibility-
Every application,
Mhm.
and you will see tonight how that is done in executive session. And you can determine, from that, you know, if it's a viable.
So someone says, I'm applying for 30,000, I'm gonna create 1 job.
Mhm.
It's up to the select board.
It's up to the select board.
And is there anything that says that job needs to exist for a year, a week, a day?
No, it does not. No, because remember, this is a loan and they're paying it back.
No, I understand.
So it's not like we're granting money
Yeah, I hear you. Okay.
and
But I think it's a no-brainer to raise it to 30,000. I was here when we established the 20. So it's time to make a move.
I think I was here when we established it. So that must have been 2012.
In that
13,
range,
2011.
yeah.
It's been a good long time, but anyway. And it has been successful. This is one program that, and Gretchen's absolutely right, that we've had some that we were very worried about. We did not loan any money to Jim Barnes, I will tell you that. Friggin' Jim.
Some businesses are no longer,
Yeah, the one,
are no longer in
and the
business.
people paid us
Some
off
are.
when they closed your business. It's
Right.
really good. It's very good.
the majority, I believe, are,
Are still in business, yeah.
say the majority are.
Yeah.
And it's just that little lift that, you know, helps them open or
Continue.
expand.
Okay.
I mean, I can remember one business sold and one business went out of business.
Right.
I'm not sure if any others, yet. And the others have done well.
So folks, I'm gonna make the motion to approve the amended revolving loan policy establishing the limit at $30,000. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to increase the revolving loan policy to 30,000. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Scott?
And there's other changes, but that's the policy that's going around now.
Gretchen, thank you, by the way.
Under other business, I would like to propose that we cancel your first meeting on the first Tuesday in September and keep the third meeting for September.
Anybody opposed to that?
The meeting would be the 16th.
16.
Yes.
This is in addition
We
to,
still have a second meeting on the 4th.
right, that's what I'm saying, in addition to the 4th.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you about that. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're good, general consent on that?
We're good.
Okay. So the proposal for your special meeting on Thursday, September the 4th at 9 a.m. is to schedule a meeting at Wheelpad. Now it's entirely possible, I have another item for you for that agenda, but that would be premature for me to say. So I'm thinking we would have 2 agenda items, but to make the meeting at Wheelpad. The purpose of having the meeting at Wheelpad, John and I went to their, I'm not sure if it was an open house or not, but anyhow, we were invited. There were some state representatives there, and John could certainly speak for himself, but I thought it was impressive. And what I want to do is for you to see the light manufacturing that's happening in this town. When I first got here, and it continues to be something that people talk about, is to bring manufacturing to the town. Now, at the same time, I believe Julie will give a presentation. So it's a 9 a.m. They're on a pretty tight schedule, so it's not going to last probably more than an hour. But you'll get a tour and you'll get an idea of what their business plan is. And at some later date, probably, although there may be a request for some money at that meeting, and it'll be up to the select board to decide if they want to determine at that meeting if they want to do anything with it or wait for a second meeting. My proposal would be just wait for the next regular meeting where you could have a full discussion about it. But you'll be able to hear what their plan is, where their money has come from, how they put together the financing, and why they would request some money from the town. It's an opportunity, I think, and this is my opinion only, it's an opportunity for, I think, the select board to understand what light manufacturing looks like and what they're trying to achieve. So with that said, I would ask if everyone can make it on Thursday, the 4th at 9 a.m. And it's an open meeting. It's a public meeting as well. So perhaps we'll get other people to come.
This should be at the Wheelhouse.
At the Wheelpad.
Wheelpad.
Down at Dub
Not here.
on Route 9.
Right. Okay.
And I talked to Julie today, and that is a good time for them.
I'm okay with it.
I'm tentative, but I'm 95%.
I'm good.
Yep. I'll be working.
Part of that bus, please.
Okay.
Tony, what do you think?
I'll be here.
He's putting it
We're-
in so he
we're
doesn't
poor.
forget.
Okay, I'm sorry we're missing Vince, but we can get you a tour.
Okay.
Okay, so just let me know when you're available and I'll get you in there. Okay, all right. Okay, very good.
Can we just go back 1 second? The other meeting that we changed to be the 16th?
16.
Thank you. 6 o'clock here, right?
It's your, it's your standing,
As opposed to
it's your
the
standing meeting
first meeting.
for the third meeting of the month.
Just making sure I got it all right.
The third Tuesday of the month, yeah.
Okay, hey, John, we'll start with you down there. We're looking for select board comments. Any comments?
I do.
Okay.
Keep us here much longer. Couple of things. Animal control ordinance that we have. There was a Trails Committee meeting this week. And I guess the discussion came up that the ordinance doesn't really talk about leashing a dog. It talks about keeping a dog basically an at-large dog is not restrained or under the direct control of its owner. That's what the ordinance says. I think the Trails Committee was looking to put up some signs about having dogs leashed. I believe, I don't want to speak for Chief Morano, who was there, and he basically said it's not clear enough that they can kind of enforce that. So I would like to propose that we update that so it does say clearly that a dog must be leashed in public in Wilmington, not just
Well,
restrained.
according to the ordinance we have right now, John, it does say that.
No, I'm looking at it. The definition for at large is a dog not on the premise of its owners and not restrained or under the direct control of its owner or owner's agent. That's the definition.
Right.
Doesn't say anything about a leash.
It's not a, yeah, it's not a leash particular.
Okay,
Not
all
a leash
right.
or a tether or something.
Right,
If there was
I
only a
mean,
leash law.
under control is so vague.
We used to
Yeah.
call it that. We used to
Yeah.
call it a leash.
Call it a
That's what we called it.
No.
And I was always in the impression that there was a leash law until it was pointed out that it doesn't really say that.
Mhm.
And I've had this discussion in my own association about having dogs on leashes as they're going through the streets. So I would like us to look at that and possibly clarify that and update.
I think we
it.
can amend the language on that,
Yeah.
John, because we
But the-
certainly, that's what we just did with this
Right.
determination on the vicious dog hearing that we had. And there is a requirement in the vicious dog hearing that the dog named Pearl, at least, not Derek, but
Mhm.
Pearl, would have to be restrained, leashed, not
Right.
muzzled, but be also confined if it's no longer in its domicile. Unfortunately, Derek doesn't get that same consideration. He's going to go south. But again, we have no idea. We haven't even had any contact by the gentleman with the dog because we're still looking for that vaccination, and it's been almost a month.
Yeah.
I mean,
That clock has run out.
Yeah, he was supposed to have done it the next day.
This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing.
So what's the enforcement on this?
So just
It's
so,
going to be through the police. The police will take that.
just to remind you, so the animal control ordinance is a town ordinance, so it just has to go on your agenda, that it's not a hearing.
Mhm.
And once you approve it, there's like a 45-day window for someone to appeal it, and then it goes into effect in 60 days. So there's no immediate effect. It does take time, but.
So let's put it on the
Let's do it.
agenda for the 16th.
Or we do that, or we can do it right now.
No, we can't. We have to warn it.
It has to be on your agenda. It can't be added
Right, right.
to the.
All right, John, what's the next one?
So the next one, which no one's gonna like. So I did attend via Zoom the DRB meeting on 7/21, where there was an application for a 10-bedroom STR, increasing it from a 4 and adding a second structure by Lake Whitingham. The DRB approved on August 4th that application, ignoring what I thought would couple of red flags. And Jessica Roberts had sent me a report last month. Basically, there were 18 approvals, 19 with this one of application for 5 or greater bedrooms by the DRB for the residential area. The owners in this case in the hearing, and I know we don't control the DRB, well, not directly, we don't, but they were not local. There's no local presence, no management company. They were already operating a 4-bedroom STR under these conditions. They had 2 neighbors there who were second homeowners who already complained about the noise from the 4 bedrooms. That was totally ignored by the DRB. So I can't imagine a 10-bedroom with now 30 plus people having any less noise, even though the owners are going to install mitigating noise, whatever that may be on the property. And the DRB, in response to the complaints, referenced the town noise ordinance, which doesn't kick in till 9 p.m. And even that, a group of 30 people at a short-term rental are going to care less about the noise ordinance and the $75 fine. And neither is the owner, who is going to rake in a lot more money revenue than that. This is not on the DRB. In most cases, their hands are tied. But I think the issue is a failure by our collective town government to address the STR issue.
John, there is no STR issue, it's your issue.
No.
It's
an
always
issue.
been your issue.
You're gonna let me finish? I'm
Go
better
right
interrupt
ahead.
than you.
Go right ahead.
The select board in 24 allowed a change for STR regulations in a residential district that was neither properly announced to the public nor was it properly presented at a public hearing by the planning commission. Change basically allowed any size STR to operate in the residential area. The initial allowance of STRs in the residential district was to help a struggling homeowner hang on to their home. It has now become an out-of-state industry where homes are bought to simply turn a profit. These are not legitimate second homeowners who want to become part of the fabric of the town. I had a conversation with State Rep Emily Caris Duncan at the wheel pad on this. She agrees this is an issue, but was hoping, as I am, that local town governments would address it before the state needs to step in and make a regulation. To that end, I'm proposing that the select board voluntarily take a review of STRs with the goal of creating an annual licensing system. Regardless of what anybody says, permits do not replace a license system. The new licensing system will reasonably limit the size and the number of STRs in all districts, especially in the residential districts. I would also consider, like the select board to consider, that any appointments or reappointments to both the planning commission and the DRB are reviewed to make sure there are no substantial conflicts of interest, with the stated goal that all decisions must take into account that the town and their residents are the priority, not any outside industry groups, and that decisions must be consistent with the town plan. That is my second comment. And Tom, it is not just my issue. Talk to anybody in town, it's an issue.
You can't move on. The problem is you
Because we didn't address the issue.
You can't move on.
We didn't address the issue
You
properly.
did not, you did. You got voted down by umpteen boards.
We
and you
now
still
have
this on-
30% of our housing is short-term
Oh,
rentals.
please.
30%.
We all know.
How
we
is
all
that
know what the
helping getting
percentages
workforce
be.
housing into
Matthew, by the
town?
way, the planning commission.
How
was
is that
talking
helping?
about probably putting a cap on the number of bedrooms. Has that been brought up?
There is a future agenda item to have an initial discussion about the DRB
Correct.
hearing so that we can consider.
That's
the
okay.
final bedroom.
I think the magic number was going to be between 8 and 10 or 8 at least.
Well, right now it's 1,000. There is no limit.
No, it's 10,000, John. 10,000.
Well, whatever it
Let's
may
go
be.
with billion, John.
It could be 1 million. Tom is right. That's exactly what our
John, you've got to give
zoning
this a
regulations
rest.
read.
All right. Tony?
Oh, joy. So I have an issue. Unfortunately, I tried to find it from the Reformer. There was an article in the Reformer, I think it was reprinted. And I apologize that I don't have the article in front of me. I think in the town of Londonderry, somebody sent a letter to the editor.
I
Do you
saw
see
I
it?
saw it.
So if I get this wrong, please correct me. I think a merchant or a taxpayer was disappointed with the process, of zoning or ordinances or.
It was an ordinance.
An ordinance, and publicly stated that they would make sure, if possible, that the individual members of the various boards suffered economically. They would shun them, they wouldn't go to their businesses, they would, do everything they could to share the disappointment with the members' pocketbooks. And it just, it gives me pause. I know we have similar things in town where we do the best we can, absolutely, with the town's best interest at heart. I'm still a merchant, and there are other merchants on this board and others. And to be penalized for doing your job by unhappy members of the community is a pain in the butt. It gives me stress, which I don't need. And I just wanted to share it. I don't know if anybody from the board has any comments about my topic or wants to discuss it, but I think it's important. I don't know if there's any way to let the community know that we're doing the best we can with their best interest at heart. Not an individual, and I don't believe we operate in any kind of a punitive or punishing capacity at any time. Even putting that sorry dog down for the way it behaved, that's a terrible thing to have to do as a community member. So that's what I wanted to share. I don't normally open my mouth about stuff like this, but I'm disappointed to know that there's members of the community that are disappointed with our process and would target us economically, at least. It could get worse. That's what I got. Thanks for letting me share.
All right, Vince,
Not at this time.
Charlie?
I did have one question that was brought to me. Maybe it's a Marshall question. I really don't know whose question. It's the pergola.
Comment.
A comment regarding the pergola.
Oh, God, not that again.
The pergola is looking not so hot. And I'm not sure if that's beautification.
You need to be more specific.
It just
because
looks like it's having some structural issues.
It's not.
Just had it rebuilt.
Oh, okay.
A few years ago,
I saw it during the fair show.
I mean, if there's something specific that we can look at.
In fact, Travis did. Travis replaced the post.
So I know this is your comment, but let me just add a little bit of information. Hopefully, we will have, is it VHB that's doing the bridge?
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll have VHB here soon. One of the questions they asked me though was about what they're calling the pocket park, which, so I gave them the history of it, and they look at these areas that could be sensitive, and that's one of those areas that I know historically was sensitive when it was built. And so I gave them that conversation, and the context of that was to build a walking bridge, potentially from that area over, which will save us some money in terms of moving water, but may also be a permanent structure. So I guess I would say at that point, we may be able to revitalize it in connection with putting a walking bridge, if that's what's going to go in there on a permanent site. But having said that, yes, the wood that's used in that area is black locust. It will outlive us all. Now, having said that, I'm willing to look at the structure if someone can tell me specifically what they're interested in.
It was passed on, so yes, I will do some more research and reach out to you. Is the landscape, the greenery, is that part of beautification?
Beautification takes care of all that.
Okay.
Yeah, I've changed my mind.
Now,
I will revise my comment and reach out.
The park there was actually the birth of beautification plan.
Actually, I've changed my mind. I do have something to add per se. Is the stone wall over on Beaver Street is actually getting worse. This Sunday, there's 3 or 4 rocks that are in the ground on the road.
On the road, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, well, they got picked up, but it's getting worse.
Huh.
Bodies moving, are they?
Yes,
Huh.
they're vacating.
Okay,
Oh.
all right. I don't have anything else, Scott, so we're gonna turn it to you for the town manager update.
Okay, so we're going to executive session. That's with Gretchen.
Correct. I have the thing here.
Ian Campbell Music requested $1,500 put on a show called Rooted, a celebration of music and community. It was held at Memorial Hall on August the 12th. The total cost was over $3,900, and there was 137 attendees. And someone sitting next to me said it was a great success. The Chambers Blueberry Splash held their rain date on August 3rd. There were estimated 1,500 attendees. Lisa Sullivan wrote this notice. They were awarded $6,750 for total cost of the event was over $13,000. There were boat tours, paddle tours that ran in the day on the original date of July 23rd, but then the bands and yoga had to move to August 3rd as a rain date. There was good attendance, and they were able to rebook the bands and boats for the rain date. Wilmington Works Village Stroll, they had a picnic in the park held on July the 12th. There were 40 attendees. The amount awarded to them was $980, with a total event cost over $2,000. Sam Kondracki said, unfortunately, weather was not on our side for this event as it began to rain during setup time. It forced them to move around and to be close to coverage. Not sure what that means, but they moved the band inside at the Village Roost. And then there were yard games with lemonade stand, pinwheel craft, and they had story time. A raffle for a picnic basket filled with everything you would need for a picnic at the lake was also done. In terms of hiring, police department has several prospects, and they anticipate potentially hiring somebody this Friday. And of course, the planning commission is working on candidates for the zoning administrator, town health officer position. Matt has worked very hard on that with his team. And in terms of highway, Marshall's working on what he believes he needs there. So stay tuned on that. We talked a little bit about the Sprague property over on Route 100 North. And remember that our neighbor across the river wanted to put electric over there. But according to the floodplain manager, they're not going to be able to do that. So there were 2 poles proposed in the FEMA floodway on either side of the channel. And from a flood risk and long-term resiliency perspective, they would not be able to support this project as currently designed. Now, I'm not going to go into all of this because my partner to the right would like me to end this meeting shortly. So in essence, I guess there's a way you could put the electrical service underground and maybe satisfy everybody. But you're talking about going down 10 feet, and it doesn't sound possible. There was a suggestion. I'm not sure what they're going to do, but we've our attorney at Adrian has communicated that to their attorney, Chris Cady. There's a whole bunch of stuff here and a lot of different public utility standards that they have to meet. And that is, remember, we bought that property through a FEMA buyout, so there's a lot of stipulations. But this is the Vermont Emergency Management asking me a couple of questions that I had to get answers from, and one of them was from the floodplain manager. So regardless, they won't act on anything unless both their questions are met positively. GMP gave me the answer to theirs, but it looks like the floodplain manager is basically saying it's a no. There's a continuance on the PBR appeals, both of them for Kaplan and Wilson. We're going to be working with our new IT and cybersecurity team, Armand, tomorrow. Jessica and Christine are heading that up as I take the day off. In terms of highway, Eastbrook, Wingwalls, did I say that before? We did that last. I did that last time. Okay. And he's been out grading and cutting down the weeds along the edge of the road. And you heard about tax collection and everything else. And national opioid settlement. I think that's all I have for you.
Okay. All right, folks, so we're going to go into executive session at this point. I have to ask Gretchen, I want you to stay, please.
Almost.
Executive session does it to me every time.
Clarify
All
my
right.
comment. And then the beautification committee has not been concentrating on the program. That they feel
Okay.
that they're not maintaining it. A lot of weeks.
You're gonna kill that, Jess?
I'm gonna.
Not until you
text
make your
Cheryl a picture.
motions.
How's that?
Oh, you make a motion?
Okay, I move the premature general public knowledge of a loan application would clearly place the town at a substantial disadvantage.
Second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, I move to enter executive session under T1 VSA 313A3 to discuss a revolving loan application. And we are going to include the economic development person, Gretchen, and the town manager.
Not on.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we are now in executive session. All right.
So I make a motion, we give them the $20,000.
Nope, 30.
was worth a shot.
So,
Tony, I'm gonna-
you're gonna have to, hey, Tony, you're gonna have to tell us who gets the 30,000.
Okay, so I make a motion, Mill and Whistle LLC get the requested amount of $30,000 for the purpose of building upgrade, shelving, and inventory for a cafe and retail store at 24 West Main Street, known as Mill and Whistle.
And the money comes out of the revolving
Yes, the
loan.
money comes out of the
Okay.
revolving loan fund.
Yes.
All right.
And will be paid back as proposed.
So we have a second.
I'll second it.
I have a motion to second to approve Mill and Whistle LLC, $30,000 on the revolving loan request. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Seeing that there's no other business in front of me, I will take requests from the floor, I guess, to adjourn.
So moved.
Fix the motion. All right. All right. All those in favor to adjourn?
Aye.
All right. We are done, folks.
You, before you leave,
Oh,
you wanted these back.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a no